Xbox is at the genesis, the very beginning of their Xbox Game Studios push. And they're about to, in this month and starting in December and into next year, put out some of their biggest games with Stalker, Flight Sim, Indiana Jones, Avowed, Doom, The Dark Ages, South of Midnight, and so much more. But before they do all that, Xbox has decided to go full third party. This is Colteastwood. Welcome back to the channel. We're here again talking about Xbox third-party multi-platform push. If you end up enjoying this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified of new content, and let's get into what Phil Spencer revealed today about the future of the Xbox brand. Xbox spoke to Bloomberg this week and broke news super early about their plans for the console generation. But let's talk about the real bombshell that dropped from this article, and that is Xbox and Phil Spencer doubling down on the plan to go third party. Back in February, Phil said that this isn't a signal of what's to come, a quote we've seen many times and I've shown many times on this channel. But over the course of the past 9 months, Xbox and Microsoft and their friction have made changes. But when it comes to third party and Xbox putting some of their unique games, their brand games, the identity games that have belonged to the brand for a long time, or the new acquisition teams, Phil Spencer said, I think this idea of open platforms where users have more choice, creators have more choice, you see the momentum, right? I do not see sort of red lines in our portfolio that say, thou must not. It's too early to make any sort of decision on the next version of Halo, close quote. So bringing up Halo is really a strong pain point for Xbox fans who have felt that Halo, Gears, and Forza are the true identity of the Xbox brand, flagship titles that should only be available on Xbox platforms or where Game Pass exists. And rumors have gone on for quite a while that the new Gears game, Gears E-Day, might eventually come to PlayStation, or that a Gears Trilogy remaster, if it exists, would launch day and date on PlayStation. The problem being that Xbox, especially with Microsoft teams like Tim Stewart and Satya Nadella, have seen, when they look at financials, Microsoft and Xbox can make money on Game Pass, on console, on cloud, on PlayStation, and on Nintendo Switch. And they can still grow the Game Pass revenue, grow subscribers, while also making money off of PlayStation. This isn't what Xbox fans wanted to hear. This isn't what I was planning to hear for sure. But the idea of putting them on a competing console platform, a console like PlayStation that has for 30 years tried to squash all of their competition and has tried to make it very apparent that Xbox doesn't exist. Rumors are already starting to swirl about Hellblade 2, a game that came out in May, the only big blockbuster game from Xbox this year up to this point, is being worked on a port for PS5. And then Starfield is almost certainly going to come to PlayStation at the end of next year once it receives its second DLC and has had all of the amazing patches that make it what it is today. I think it's important to understand for Xbox fans that Xbox as a platform will put their games on PC, Xbox console, and Game Pass day and date. And then they'll decide case-by-case basis, with no red line, that some games will come to PlayStation eventually. Phil Spencer saying there's no red line really literally means that all games are on the table. There's nothing that is sacred that can't come to the PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. In fact, we're hearing leaks right now and rumors that PlayStation plans to make major partnerships with their games coming to the new Nintendo Switch 2 that will be revealed sometime in early 2025. So the idea of console-only or plastic box-only exclusives has been dissolving away for the better part of the past 5 or 6 years. And especially for Xbox, has become a true reality that they can't just rely on a small sub-base of 30 million consoles. The other question that always comes up is, if Xbox is putting their games on PlayStation, where's God of War, Spider-Man, and all those games? Where's The Last of Us and Uncharted coming to Xbox? Well, it doesn't work that way. It definitely doesn't work that way. Right now, Nintendo and PlayStation are the console platform leaders in the market because in the console platform, they're in third place. Here's the other thing that other fans that aren't Xbox fans don't want to hear. is that Xbox is probably going to be a major juggernaut leader in their industry when it comes to games and publishing. They'll have more active users every month across Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Halo, and all of their big flagship titles that see players returning over and over again. One of the big reveals was that the Xbox Handheld, yet again revealed by Phil Spencer, is a reality. He said this back in June of 2024, reiterated yet again that yes, they are designing an Xbox Handheld, but he said it is, quote, years out. And years could be 4 years, or years could be 1 to 2 years. According to sources and information that I've dug into over this past year, the Xbox Handheld could be seen as early as late 2025 or maybe in 2026. But Sarah Bond has told fans that they have a hardware reveal for the end of this year, next month at the Game Awards in 2024. Phil said on the Xbox Handheld, quote, "The expectation is that we would do something longer term. I love us building devices, and I think our team could do some real innovative work, but we want to be informed by learning and what's happening now." That quote is talking about what's happening with the ROG Ally and Steam Deck, which are very popular, but have only sold around a few million units each for Valve and for Asus. The handheld and the Xbox handheld concept is something that could really push the industry forward, with the Xbox handheld doing more than just a Steam Deck or a ROG Ally. It would also play natively all of the catalog games that are available right now on the Xbox consoles, which would include over 4,000 games. And that's something you can't say with a Steam Deck, a Lenovo Go, or the ROG Ally. The few years out thing was a new reveal that Phil Spencer said today that means I don't think we're going to see the Xbox handheld at the end of 2025, but probably closer to 2026. I'm also in the belief that Xbox plans to release the Xbox handheld a year before their traditional console, which might be at the end of 2027. But this is what Xbox wants to do. Phil also said about the next generation console, quote, "I feel pretty good about where the industry is going to reach new players. We need to be creative and adaptive of new business models, new devices, new ways of access, and we're not going to grow the market with $1,000 consoles." This is funny because this is an off-the-record conversation I had with somebody within Xbox that asked us all if we would like a $1,000 console. I was sitting in a group that was very hardcore on the console and Xbox scene, and only half of us raised our hands that we would love to buy a $1,000 console, being that the $500 price point is really the sweet spot for just about everybody for a console that you connect to your TV. But because of PlayStation and Xbox's market position, the next consoles will likely be $600 or probably $700. A lot of people have been watching for Phil Spencer, and it seems every time he says something in an interview, it comes back to bite fans who are waiting for him to give us good news and tell us what's happening next. But the reality is the way the market is for gaming and most industries with massive layoffs, studio shutdowns, big investments that didn't pay off and are losing money, all of these platforms have to make some sort of pivot. Xbox especially, and PlayStation in minor ways, they've had to make big changes. And I would expect PlayStation to put most of their games on PC so much sooner than they have in the past. Really, it comes down to when those ports can be available at launch or not. But there are big changes in the way. Death Stranding coming to Xbox, is PlayStation selling off the IP to Kojima to make up money they lost from Concord. There are a lot of things at play, and everything we thought about consoles, which we talked about last decade, really don't apply anymore. Back to Phil Spencer, everybody is wondering about what he's going to say and how he's been going through all of this. How long is he going to be at Xbox? People are concerned about his health. Look at the guy. He's lost weight. People are wondering, how long is he going to stay at Xbox? Now he's the head of Microsoft Gaming. Sarah Bond is leading the Xbox platform with her team. How long will Phil Spencer stay with Xbox leading that part of the division? And I've heard that he's supposed to stay until the end of this gen, launch the next console generation, which will probably be in 2027, and then he's out, retired, and he'll be done. The Xbox Series X and S have been straight up gaming consoles, but by then it was too late. If you're still an Xbox fan, you can be excited. There's a handheld coming in a year or two, and then there's a next generation console. They're not going to give up on those, and there's going to be a ton of games, and Game Pass will be available with all those games day one for such a low price. And if that sounds enticing, then the Xbox platform is still a great place to play. But if you like to play on PlayStation, you want to play games all in one place, PC might be the place to play. But some of the best games are yet to come, and I really hope Xbox delivers because they owe it to their fans who've been invested with them for over 25 years. This is Colteastwood. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I don't know. This has been a tough thing to talk about for a long time, and half of the games that Xbox has in the roadmap that we've talked about quite a bit, half of those games will come to PlayStation, down the road in a year or two, or maybe months. But the other half are just going to launch straight on Game Pass, and I think, or straight on PlayStation. But the other half are going to launch directly onto PlayStation day and date. And I think if you look at them, of whether they're live service based online or whatever, or their existing franchises, all Bethesda games, all Activision games will be day and date from now on the PlayStation and Nintendo Switch too, if they can run it there. So if you ended up enjoying this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified of new weekly content. You want to further support what we're doing here on the Colteastwood channel, you can hit the join button below. It's over here, there, like right there. Appreciate that. I'll get you early access to videos, and we have a Patreon. We got several tiers you can check out that will get you access and monthly merch giveaways and all of that stuff. But I appreciate your support. If you want to hear more about this than what I can shove into a 10-some minute video, we've got the XNC podcast that runs every Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. There, middle-aged game guy and I will break down what's going on, what we're hearing behind the scenes about the Xbox platform, getting guests on to get their take on the news as well. So check that out. And I want to know what you think about this. On a scale of 1 to 10, how emotionally distraught are you about Xbox putting their games on other pieces of plastic? Let me know in the comment section. It's going to be dicey there. So as I always say, please be nice.